We often speak about humans saving animals. Sure, we also put ourselves available as the ones who save the day, is nature's biggest helpers, always ready to take each of the credits. So how often have we celebrated the changing times when a creature puts itself in danger of the sake of your man? We probably don't do it frequently as we should, because people are not appearing to cover an excessive amount of attention to that particular. But merely because we don't mention it, I am not saying there haven't been any heroic acts by animals. Today I want to give a list of animals that save people's lives. These acts of heroism will more than likely put a smile on your face, or maybe even make it cry a tear or two. Another thing is for sure, the lives of 10 people were saved thanks to the actions of 10 animals. You aren't gonna believe what Animal Primary did for a human, and you're gonna want to have this by your side if you happen to offer an emergency. Mia the beluga whale. Our next pick occurs underwater during an apnea competition. If you happen to have no idea, an apnea competitors are basically an event through which participants try to prove who could stay underwater for your longest period of time. You might have perhaps done that after put forth the pool with your friends. Now nevertheless, the competition was taking place inside a beluga whale pond in China. Even though the setting itself does sound a little dangerous and thrilling, it had been actually quite convenient for Yang Yun, 26, a participant, whose legs stopped responding after being underwater for too long. Without the warning, Mia, a beluga whale, grabbed Yang Yun by her leg and took her towards the surface. She could breathe again and recover power over her body, and simply like that, in just a few seconds, Mia became quite the hero, since they can be in the right place with the right time. Wonder what would have happened to Yang Yun if she had performed this inside regular pool with no beluga whales around. Actually, maybe that's a thing to think about. The protective whale. I'm very strict about don't touch the animals that you simply study. Do not get inside the way. Another story that can take place underwater with another whale. This time the tale starts with a person threatened with the animal that ended up saving her life. A humpback whale. Nan Hauser, a renowned marine biologist, have been exploring whales for a relatively good time. But during a trip towards the Cook Islands last 2017, Hauser witnessed something she hadn't seen before. She came face to face with a humpback whale that started softly pushing her forward with a closed mouth. Understand that humpback whales could be about 60 feet long and weigh a good deal. So they are not a small animal. So being pushed by a whale this big isn't necessarily fun. However, when Anheuser came out of the water, she noticed the fin of a tiger shark swimming right behind the whale. What house are believed to become the finish of her life ended up being a whale just wanting to protect her from a genuine predator. The 3 guardian lions. Next on our list is a fascinating story that appears like something straight out of your movie. The story comes about in Africa. Along with the victim is often a 12-year-old girl, and our heroes can be a group of 3 lions that stumbled on her rescue. All this started when the lady was kidnapped and taken into a very remote part of the Ethiopian savannah. The men responsible to the abduction desired to force the lady into getting married and held her for a week, while constantly beating her up, and this glad your ex was saved with the lions. They heard her crying. The men left thinking she was dead, though the lions stood by the lady, waiting for any sort of human assist to arrive. As soon as they remarked that the girl was at safe hands, the lions went back with their regular lifestyle, because like heroes after saving the day, Dory the rabbit. Heroes come in all sizes, and here is a rabbit that can prove it to you. When Simon Stigl became unconscious while you're watching TV, his wife Victoria thought he simply fallen asleep. And I love her. Dory, your house rabbit, knew something wasn't right and started jumping on Mr. Stegel's chest until his wife came on to notice that something was wrong and immediately called an ambulance. Dory knew that they was not allowed on furniture, and Victoria kept insisting that to obtain off Mr. Stegel's chest, but her constant tapping made Mrs. Stegel discover the problem and take action right away. An interesting facts are that Mrs. Stegel was working with an ambulance service back then, and your home shaman noticed the problem before she did. She was obviously ashamed but thankful to have this kind of helpful and stubborn rabbit in the house. Personally, I hope they allowed her back up for the furniture after this. Ladies' message here: never underestimate the potential in the pets you might have in your own home. You can't predict when they'll arrive at rescue your health. Jambo the gorilla. So the decision was not made lightly. Lowland gorillas were very endangered animals. There's not very many in captivity. We believe of gorillas in zoos. The majority of us probably think of Harambe inside the controversial end of his life, but let's not talk about 2016 here. However, there is another gorilla available that came one-on-one with a child. His name is Jambo, and he became a hero back in 1986, when a 5-year-old boy fell inside his enclosure. The boy was unconscious, which would make anyone think he was a straightforward prey to the gorillas. However, Jambo immediately stumbled on, caressed the boy, and stood by Nort to guard him from other gorillas. In the past, people didn't have mobile phones like today, but a lot of men and women recorded the wedding with photographs and home videos. This helped others find out about the protective and caring nature of gorillas. Some individuals out there is going watch these videos and understand how helpful gorillas can be if you do not stress them out. Basically, there is no should shoot them. There's definitely no need for kids to be climbing down their enclosures. There is no reason for Mike Tyson to wish to fight one. Leave gorillas alone for God's sakes. Ning Dong, the elephant lifeguard. There have been a great deal of disasters on the last few years. Nothing comes close to the tragedy in the 2004 tsunami in the Indian Ocean. It affected many countries within the region, and numerous thousands of lives were lost in a short time frame. The videos themselves are very difficult to watch. But within the midst of all of the chaos, there are some stories of hope. One too is the tale of an 4-year-old elephant that saved lifespan of an 8-year-old girl in Phuket, Thailand. Our hero is Ning Dong the elephant. When our little hero realized that Amber was unprotected, he immediately took Amber on its back and looked to get a safe place and better ground. After the waves crashed, the elephant turned into a protective wall that kept the girl from getting hurt. Samantha, Amber's mom, a few minutes at the end from the story would happen to be different if Amber had stayed using them around the beach. The little lady wasn't strong enough to adapt for the impact of the water. At some time following your impact, Samantha started asking people about Ning Dong, plus they told her that the elephant were dead. She was relieved when she saw her little daughter riding on the back in the elephants. Today we can easily celebrate Ning Dong being a tsunami hero, the bear, and also the mountain lion. Something jumped on my small back, and I thought it was obviously a friend of mine conducting a joke on me. The next inspiring story begins within a mountain hike in California with a man named Robert Biggs. Robert, I've been on countless hikes, but nothing had prepared the 69-year-old hiker with this intense experience. You couldn't help but stop watching when he came close to a mother bear and her cub. It would be a cute moment he didn't desire to miss, but everything changed when all of a sudden a mountain lion came from behind and attacked him while pushing him to the ground. Although Robert's backpack kept the lion from reaching his face, there was clearly nothing else he could do in order to escape. His life was pretty much going to end there. That's if the mother bear stumbled on the scene and chased the lion away, saving Robert and giving him a memory he now grows to keep for a lifetime. None of his minor injuries compared to the satisfaction for being saved by the mother bear, that's for sure. Lulu, known the Vietnamese pig as by her mate, she only agreed to be a pastor inside me and kissing me and crying I am laying on the floor. Lulu's act of heroism happened at the time when social media marketing and memes were not a thing. Shocking, I know, right? Otherwise she would are already more famous than when she was in 1998, when she saved living of her owner. It all started when Lulu's owner Joanne had a cardiac arrest and her husband was on a fishing trip. Besides Lulu, there is a dog named Bear, an American Eskimo, that started barking hopelessly, trying to acquire someone's attention. When Lulu realized that Bear's efforts were pointless, she decided to head out of the yard, where she was kept, and she got hurt along the way. However, she finally made it to the guts of a main road where she started playing dead. Some people thought she was just a cute playful pig, but someone finally noticed that Lulu was trying to offer a warning. The individual followed Lulu every one of the way to her house, and that's how they were able to get help for Joanne, which is one brave determined pig. Mia the beluga whale. Our next pick occurs underwater during an apnea competition. If you happen to have no idea, an apnea competitors are basically an event through which participants try to prove who could stay underwater for your longest period of time. You might have perhaps done that after put forth the pool with your friends. Now nevertheless, the competition was taking place inside a beluga whale pond in China. Even though the setting itself does sound a little dangerous and thrilling, it had been actually quite convenient for Yang Yun, 26, a participant, whose legs stopped responding after being underwater for too long. Without the warning, Mia, a beluga whale, grabbed Yang Yun by her leg and took her towards the surface. Joshua, she could breathe again and recover power over her body, and simply like that, in just a few seconds, Mia became quite the hero, since they can be in the right place with the right time. Wonder what would have happened to Yang Yun if she had performed this inside regular pool with no beluga whales around. Actually, maybe that's a thing to think about. William the chatty parrot. William, or Willie as his family would call him, was obviously a very chatty parrot, as his title suggests. But Willie used this attribute to state lifespan of Hannah, a 2-year-old who was choking so to the point that her face started to turn blue. Megan, who had previously been Hannah's babysitter, was choosing a bathroom break if the incident happened. That's when Willie started flapping his wings aggressively and screamed the words "Mommy, baby." Megan got over to see what Willie was talking about and knows that hand was choking on a Pop-Tart. She then proceeded to use the Heimlich maneuver and save the toddler his life. Story can be different if Lily hadn't been there.